Look at the ground. Just visualize it for a moment. Right now, if you were to fly a drone over that specific corner of the town, you wouldn't see a cathedral of football just yet. You would see earth. You would see heavy machinery. You would see the raw, exposed scars of the earth, where history once stood, and where the future is trying to break through. It looks messy. It looks industrial. But make no mistake, what is happening in that dirt is perhaps the most significant thing to happen to this community in decades. There is something incredibly strange happening at the racecourse. Usually, when clubs talk about construction, it is boring. It is paperwork. It is red tape. But this feels different. There is a tension in the air. We have been waiting for the famous cop stand to rise from the ashes for what feels like a lifetime. We have heard the promises. We have seen the artistic renderings that look like spaceships landing in Wales. But now we have something else. We have a date. We have a timeline. And hidden within that timeline, there is a massive gamble, a calculated risk that tells you everything you need to know about the ambition of this football club. It is not just about bricks and mortar. It is about the noise. It is about that missing lung of the stadium that has left us gasping for air when we need that extra push in the dying minutes of a match. The silence of that end of the ground has been a ghost haunting every single match day. But the ghost is being exorcised. The machinery is moving. The mud is shifting. And finally, we have the words that confirm exactly when the wall of noise returns. But the path to that date, it is not a straight line. It is complex. It is ambitious. And quite frankly, it is absolutely fascinating.
Welcome back to the channel. I'm Rodrigo, and today we are stripping away the rumours and looking directly at the facts coming out of the boardroom. We have a major update directly from the CEO, Michael Williamson. He has gone on record speaking to BBC Radio Wales Sport, and he hasn't just given us fluff, he has given us the calendar. This is crucial because in football, dates are currency. Dates are what we hold on to when things get tough on the pitch. According to Williamson, the construction works have officially commenced in 2025. We knew this, we can see the activity, but having it stamped on the official record matters. But here's the headline date that you need to mark in your diaries. Early 2027. That is the target. That is the finish line. Now pause for a second. I know what you are thinking. 2027? That feels like an eternity away. In the fast-paced world of football, where a week is a long time, 2 years feels like a geological era. But we have to analyse this rationally. We are talking about a complete reconstruction, not a touch-up paint job. Williamson was very clear. Construction is underway. This isn't a plan anymore, it is a process. The CEO stated clearly, we've been on schedule, things are moving, we're looking at opening in early 2027. There's a solidity to that statement. He isn't saying maybe, he isn't saying hopefully, he is projecting a specific window. For a project of this magnitude, under the scrutiny of the world's media and the pressure of the Hollywood ownership, hitting that schedule is non-negotiable. The clock has started ticking, and every single day that passes without a delay is a victory for the club.
Now this is where things get incredibly intriguing. This is the part of the news that most people might gloss over, but we are going to drill down into it because it reveals the risk I mentioned in the title. It is a bold strategic move. Listen to what Michael Williamson said regarding the capacity. He said, we have planning permission for 5,500, but we are actually building a facility that will have 7,500 additional capacity. Read that again. Let that sink in. They have the legal green light for 5,500 seats, but they are physically constructing the shell, the infrastructure, and the facility to hold 7,500. This is fascinating corporate confidence. They are effectively building for a future they haven't legally secured yet. Williamson explained, Once we get the additional planning permission approved, we'll be at 18,000 seats here at the Stock Caerhas, which will be fantastic. This is the gamble. They are committing resources, engineering and steel to a 7,500 seat stand on the assumption, the strong belief, that the council and the planning authorities will grant that extension. If they built only for 5,500 now and then got permission later, they would have to retrofit, which is expensive and messy. By building for the maximum capacity now, they are future-proofing the stadium. It is a statement of intent. It says, we know we will fill this. It says, we know the demand is there. Getting to 18,000 capacity is the magic number. That is the number that transforms the racecourse from a charming lower league ground into a fortress capable of hosting serious championship or even, dare we dream, Premier League football. It is necessary. It is a beautiful kind of arrogance, believing so strongly in the growth of the club that you build beyond your current permission.
Let's talk about the physical reality of what is happening on the ground right now. It is easy to look at a muddy site and think nothing is happening, but Williamson gave us the technical breakdown, and it is music to the ears of anyone who understands construction. He confirmed that McLaren is on site. For those who don't know, having a contractor of that calibre involved is a massive seal of quality. They are not messing about with local builders who might run out of bricks. This is a top-tier operation. Williamson described the current phase. The contractors are working on a daily basis on all the groundwork. This is the unglamorous part. This is the part where money is literally buried in the ground. He mentioned piling. Piling is being worked on for the foundations. This is critical. You cannot build a yellow wall-style stand without driving massive concrete or steel piles deep into the Welsh soil to hold the weight of 7,500 screaming fans. He then painted the picture of what comes next. Eventually they'll start doing the steel work and you'll start to see the facade go up. That is the moment the psychology changes. When the steel rises, when the skeleton of the beast becomes visible above the hoardings, that is when it becomes real for the players and the fans. Right now, it is a hole in the ground. Soon, it will be a shadow cast over the pitch, and that shadow is going to be intimidating for any opposition goalkeeper having to defend that end. This is the nuance that makes the early 2027 date a little less painful. Williamson dropped a very significant hint about how this stand might be introduced to the faithful. He didn't just say wait until 2027 for everything, he suggested a phased approach. He stated, there is the possibility that a section of the rebuilt stand could be made available to supporters before the stand is fully opened. This is huge. This changes the atmosphere well before the final ribbon is cut. Imagine, perhaps midway through the 2026 season or towards the tail end of a promotion push, suddenly having even 2,000 or 3,000 fans back in the Kop. Even a partially open stand is better than a vacant lot. Williamson clarified, we might have some opportunities to have some seating and capacity available before that, but for the full facade and everything to be finished, we are into early 2027. This is smart management. It manages expectations while offering a glimmer of hope. It acknowledges the desperation of the fan base to get tickets. We all know the ticket wars. We all know how impossible it is to get a seat at the racecourse right now. Every single seat that comes online early is a victory for the community. It relieves the pressure cooker. It allows more local people who've been locked out by the global demand to get back in to see their team. It is a logistical challenge to open a construction site to the public, but if they can pull it off safely, it's a game changer for the matchday experience. The word iconic gets thrown around a lot in football. Every goal is iconic, every kit is iconic. It loses its meaning. But when the CEO of Wrexham uses it to describe this specific project, I believe he is using it correctly. Williamson said, it's needed, it'll be a beautiful facility, it'll be iconic for the town and for the football club. Why iconic?
Because the Cop at Wrexham isn't just a stand, it is a symbol of the dark days and the resurrection. It sat derelict for so long, a rotting reminder of the mismanagement and the near-death experience of this club. To see it rebuilt, larger than ever, modern yet imposing, is the ultimate symbol of the Hollywood era. It changes the skyline of the town, it changes the acoustics of the stadium. An 18,000 capacity racecourse is a different animal. It moves Wrexham into a different bracket of club. It stops being a plucky little club and starts looking like a sleeping giant that has finally woken up and put its armour on. The iconic nature isn't just about the architecture, it's about what it represents. It represents survival, it represents ambition, it represents the fact that the Red Dragons are not just passing some of the leagues, they are building a fortress to stay at the top.
We have to contextualise this news within the wider project. Rob McElhenney and Ryan Reynolds have always said they want to do this sustainably, but they also want to move fast. The gaffer, Phil Parkinson, needs this atmosphere. He drives his teams on passion and intensity. A three-sided ground leaks energy. A four-sided ground traps it. The owners know that to compete in League One and eventually the Championship, the revenue needs to increase. You cannot sustain a Championship wage bill on a League Two gate receipt. This stand is the economic engine of the future club. That is why they are pushing for the 7,500 capacity over the 5,500. Those extra 2,000 seats are pure revenue. They're the difference between buying a good striker and buying a great one. When Williamson talks about the stand being iconic for the town, he is echoing the owner's mission statement. It's about community regeneration. A construction project of this size employs local people. It brings trade, but mostly it brings pride. And let's be honest, the Racecourse is the oldest international football stadium in the world that still hosts international matches. It deserves a facility that honours that history. This update confirms that the custodians of the club are treating that history with the respect and the ambition it demands.
So here is where we stand. The date is set, early 2027 for the full experience. The work is real. Piling is happening, McLaren is digging. The ambition is unchecked. Building for 7,500 even when the paper says 5,500. It is a long road ahead. We are going to have to be patient. We are going to have to watch the steel rise slowly over the next 18 to 24 months. But the risk they are taking by pushing for the larger capacity is exactly the kind of risk we want to see. It shows they are not settling. They are not just patching a hole. They are building a legacy. The Cop is coming back. It might be a slow burn, but when that roar finally returns, fully unleashed from 5,500 or 7,500 throats, it will be the sweetest sound in North Wales. I want to know what you think. Is early 2027 too long to wait, or is it worth it to get it right? And what do you make of the gamble to build for a higher capacity before permission is granted? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep up with every development at the Racecourse. Up the town!